Alright, we are back on gaming. I want to say this right now. I hate to announce this, okay? But we have a lot of sad news that's going to have to be announced later. Has nothing to do with me. It's the news that I've been seeing, that I've been reading. A lot of sad times are coming on our community. We will talk about it near the end of the video. I'll put the links in the info bar. Really sad stuff that we'll have to address. There's a lot of controversial things we'll have to address as well today. But, of course, we have to start with the usual suspects. Don't get me wrong, people. We got some good news, too. We got some announcements and probably, make some people excited, but, about the games coming in the future. But there's a number of issues that we need to talk about within the industry, and also the social justice wackos. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on them because they are not important as far as I'm concerned when it comes to this week. This is something that needs to be addressed, you know what I mean? All these other problems that we're having in our community, and this is what our community has been about, you know what I mean? We see these problems, it's time for us to get together and try to do something about these problems. So, and it's not just our community either, it's the industry in general. Okay, so I'm going to address a number of things today. And if people get mad, hey, you get mad, you get mad. I don't give a shit, to be quite honest. This is just things I feel as though we need to talk about, okay? And if you don't like what I'm talking about, guess what? Like I told you before, don't take the door, there's the window, all right? That's simple. Now, I do want to start off with one, Brianna Wu. Now, as you know, I called Brianna Wu Scumbag Steve, Scumbag Prime. Not too long ago, you guys and girls said that I should start referring to Brianna Wu as Scooby Whoo. That's right. Scooby Whoo. And it seems like it's confirmed. I actually like that because you were saying, they would get away for it if it wasn't for us kids and them damn dog. It makes kind of sense, so confirm Scooby Whoo. So let's talk about Scooby Whoo, okay? First off, for everything that Scooby Whoo says about oppression and, how, the patriarchy and things of that nature and being held down and such a victim, and we know it's bullshit, all right, because we've seen what Scooby Whoo has done on Twitter. For those who don't know, there's been an article written about Rev 60. That's right, Scooby Woo's own game. By a woman, so there's no internal misogyny here. This woman breaks down exactly why this game is offensive. That's right. Alright, going on about, the way the body types are on women and cookie cutter, and I'm telling you, this article is pretty damn good as far as I'm concerned. It's one of those things where, once again, if you're going to sit here and scream this type of shit and hope that somebody gives you money to your Patreon, you need to look at yourself first. Take a long look in the mirror and realize you're doing every trope that you say that you're against. Yeah, it's a really good article. I'll put the link in the info bar. But that's not the important thing I want to talk about today. Alright, we need to start off with something a little bit more serious. For those who don't know, Epic Games bans Muslim speech professor, who's an avid gamer, that's right, from Brown College because his name is like a terrorist. That's right. It's something in their coding, apparently, where they have a name description. And if the name matches up, a specific name matches up, they won't let you get into their beta. That's right. Now, also with this being said, they've already said that they're going to fix the problem and that this should have never happened. And they apologize. The CEO has apologized for this issue. But this is one of those things that we have talked about before, all right? And this is what you call profiling. That's what it is. And like I said, the professor is very happy that, they're going to fix the issue, but says, this is something you have to really look at the industry and say, hey, this is a problem in the industry. Now, look, we've talked about this time and time again about how the industry is racist, and I've shown you in the previous year or so, and I've shown you so many examples of it happening. Once again, this is a problem. It is. Now, with that being said, should it have happened? No, it shouldn't have happened at all. They're saying it's something in the coding and in the registry to where it matches up names, it sees certain names, and then it's like, okay, you're automatically banned, you can't join, this game, blah, blah, blah. That's what happened, okay? I feel as though it's absolutely wrong. Epic Games talks about how, this coding isn't just built for games. It's built for more of a commercial, commercial company base. And if that's the case, if that's the excuse you want to go with, then that should tell you something about what's going on in the commercial company base. Okay? Gaming right now has had so many problems with this type of stuff, and now it's on your front door. So for everyone who's saying that, all this type of stuff we're seeing is late when it comes to politics and gender identity politics and wherever type of labeled politics you want to call it, this is one of those things where it needs to be cleaned up. It does. Because if you're getting banned because of your name, and then you have other people screaming oppression because they want money, I'm just saying, It's a very serious issue because it is profiling. Who else will be profiled next? That's something that gaming cannot afford to go through. And like I said, it's not our community. No, this is an industry issue. But of course, without the industry, we don't have anything. You know what I mean? And just like it's give and take. As you know, without the community, the industry doesn't make any money. Because we buy the games, and without them making the games, we don't have anything to buy. So it is a concern as far as I'm concerned. I would love to hear what you guys and girls have to say in the comment section about this, because let's be honest, it is profiling. It is. Okay? Now, with that being said, I do want to move on to some more positive news. Games Done Quick. That's right. They raised $1.2 million in charity for their speed runs, which is congratulations. You did a great job. On top of that, Gamestop raises $2.8 million for childhood cancer research and treatment. So, congratulations as well, GameStop. Even though I feel as though you just made $3 billion in your industry, I feel as though you could have put on some type of tournament to raise even more money. For the money that was spent, it was more of, those little jars that you see at the register. If you give $1, we'll give you 10% off, whatever. That's what it is. It was an incentive. That's what it was. You know what I mean? So I feel as though if GameStop would have tried harder, they probably could have raised even more money. But that's just me. Okay? Now, even though Games Done Quick, 1.2 mil, GameStop raised 2.8 mil, here's the bad thing. And we talked about this before. Okay? Psychonauts 2 reaches its $3.3 million goal in crowdfunding. So let me get this straight, gamers, community, alright? Games Done Quick, doing it for charity, only raises 1.2 mil. GameStop, that you're buying from and giving your money, only 2.8 mil, but you're going to give a fucking idiot over $3.3 million so that he can make a game. You know what? This is exactly how I see Tim Schafer right now. Just like he did last time when you gave him money. So apparently, saving lives and helping others, go into the future, isn't as important as getting my video. Unreal. Disappointing. Very disappointing. I want to move on, okay? Beast Fury, let's talk about this. Some more positive news. Now, for those who remember the video I did on Beast Fury and showed you how the people in the company were acting and how they were trashing, Skullgirls and the community and how their game would be better than Skullgirls and how they were going to Rockaway Car stream just to pick fights, just to say things on Twitter towards me in general, I'm like, get the fuck out of here. And I really put it in there, you know what I mean? I really showed y'all what was going on with Beast Fury. Well, I have something to announce. Beast Fury has been, anybody? Canceled. That's right, canceled. So what did you learn? What did you learn? It goes to show you, when you burn too many fucking bridges, alright? When you bag on people who were willing to help you. That's right, willing to help you. And you throw them away. But you lean on YouTubers. That's right, famous YouTubers and famous fighting game players. Where are they at now? Huh? Where are they at now to help you? They're not around? Oh, but they were going to voice characters in the game. Where are they at now? Exactly. When you lean, see, it's almost like one of those things where you just played the wrong cards. And it's almost like you went to a poker tournament and you were like, here, show my entire hand. And then you expected to get something out of that. And people are so pissed off. Even when they announced that they were canceling and why they were canceling this game, I'll put a link in the info bar to the Skullheart forums. Purposely, I'm putting you to the Skullheart forums. Because remember, that's who they were bagging on at first. Skullgirls suck. The community suck. My game's going to be bigger than Skullgirls anyway. Yeah. That's coming right back around to you. Yeah. And if you see the comments in this conversation, when they're saying people are even more mad now. They are. They're like, wait a minute. You were following Skullgirls closely on how they did things, but you didn't realize that you didn't have enough money to put that demo out, as opposed to with Skullgirls, how much they had to spend for their demo. Like, it's amazing to see how the community has reacted. So as far as I'm concerned, I feel bad for the other employees who didn't get paid yet and were working hard, you know what I mean? As opposed to the egotistical jackass who thought that he was just so great and that this was going to be nothing, and that everybody who had an opinion on it, whoever criticized it, were just a bunch of fucking idiots. Yeah! How'd it work out for you? How'd it work out? The fact is, you have to understand that you need this community. And like I just said this not too long ago, without the community, you will not flourish. It doesn't matter how much money, because you kept bragging about that. We had this much money. We had that much money. Yeah. Where'd that go? Like I said, all the bragging that happened within the time, that everyone criticized it because of what they were doing, and now they're saying they don't even owe the, everyone who gave to the, the Kickstarters and all that type of stuff. We don't owe the people who gave us money anything. We just owe the people who were working. Like, if you see the cancellation for what it is, and people are so, gamers are pissed. They are. Like I said, I'll put a link in the info bar. It's great to see, though, that, it's coming back around to them. It is. And like I said, I feel bad for the people who worked hard, who didn't have a problem with what was being said about, in the community. People who were just keeping their head down and trying to get the project, just off the ground and keep it going, as opposed to the guy who pretty much sabotaged the whole fucking thing. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, there's nothing else to be said about that, is there? There really isn't. Like I said, arrogance will be your downfall every fucking time. Every time. And I'll talk about more arrogance as well and later, alright? But I do have some good news to report. That's right. So, let's talk about SNK. That's right. King of Fighters 14, as you know, has 50 characters, right? But here's the thing, alright? And that's on launch. Alright? But DLC depends on how the launch roster is received by gamers. Now, here's the thing. King of Fighters, in the previous game, had DLC. I don't see why they wouldn't do DLC on this as well. Now, we talked about last time when we talked about King of Fighters and things of that nature. And remember the pachinko, the new rules and why they came back to gaming. And remember, they had said that if King of Fighters does well, then they'll start, making other games. And I said, no, that's bullshit. You shouldn't have to, you shouldn't have to support King of Fighters simply for other games to be done, because as we know, it can stand on its own too. SNK has the money. They have plans. You have to be fucking kidding me if you don't think that a company doesn't have a phase 2 when something like this is happening. We talked about this before, right? And a lot of you agreed. Well, here's the thing. SNK, King of Fighters, to be adapted into an anime and live-action TV series. Alright? That's number one. So, they're going to try and push the profile. So, when this was being said, a lot of us, said in the comment section and on Twitter, after King of Fighters, what are they going to do? And a lot of us said, they should bring back World Heroes. And a lot of people said, yeah, they should bring back World Heroes. Well, I do have some news for you, okay? Some actually good news. And, sad to say that it won't be, World Heroes that will be next on the block. No, it won't. However, the things that are next in their Phase 2, I think will please many. That's right. For those who don't know, SNK to bring back Samurai Showdown, that's right, Samurai Showdown, and Metal Slug as part of the Revival gaming division. So there will be the next two games after King of Fighters that will be on the block next. That's part of their Phase 2 plan. Alright? So once again, like I said, SNK, maybe they're doing something great here. Like I said, I have no problems with it. Even though I wanted to see World Heroes, I'm okay with Samurai Showdown. And I'm okay with Metal Slug getting the green light as well. So, we'll see how those go. Then maybe if those, of course, if those sell well, then they'll go into Phase 3. You know what I mean? We'll see what happens. But let's give them credit on this one. They're coming out with Samurai Showdown and Metal Slug. And let's be honest here. Let's keep it a little grounded. I understand that people are happy, but let's keep it grounded here. We don't know what it's going to look like yet. Because, as we know, when they announced King of Fighters 14, a lot of people was like, yes, King of Fighters. And then we saw the trailer, and a lot of people was like, this is bullshit. This is horrible. You know what I mean? So, we will see what happens. You know what I mean? Let's not get our hopes up too much, but we should be happy at the fact that they have announced that, that Samurai Showdown and Metal Slug will be after King of Fighters. So, good going so far, SNK. Baby steps. That's what it takes. Let's move on. I want to talk about Mortal Kombat. For those who don't know, we just saw not too long ago the DLC trailer that came out, and the characters that you will be seeing: Bo Raicho, Xenomorph, Triborg, things of that nature. We saw these, and I couldn't help but notice, and I want to focus simply on the alien because of the fact that, as you know, I did the same thing with Jason. I didn't do the same thing with Predator, even though I talked about it with Predator not too long ago. How, they actually watched the movies, they mirrored it, and, even watching these streams when these gameplays are going on, I'm actually taking notes, and I'm watching the actual moveset and how it works, and things of that nature to see if it actually fits the character. Well, for what we've seen so far in the trailer for the Xenomorph, obviously, Xenomorph has inhabited Baraka, clearly. That's one of its, so far we know, one of its variations. And part of the story is Devora puts the bug in, it was brought to my attention, Dr. Rectangle had came up and said, in the story, Devora puts the bug in Baraka in the story mode. So that would make sense on why the Xenomorph has turned into Baraka. It's a hybrid. So here's my thing. If that's the case, is Devora part of this Xenomorph legacy? I mean, what does she have to do? Like, you really have to flesh this story out when it comes to Devora now, because you don't know what part of this alien plan. We know she's the bug lady, and we know that aliens are known as bugs, if anyone who's watched the Alien series. But you don't know just exactly how far they're going to go with this. Now, here's the thing. When it comes to the gameplay that I've seen so far, a lot of these moves, just like with Predator, a lot of these moves are kill shots. They're already kill shots. And it's like, I understand it's Mortal Kombat, and, you're seeing these X-rays and things of that nature, but the way to see the alien moves, just with the tail alone, it's like, that's a kill shot. It's like, you can't possibly... It's Mortal Kombat. I get it. You know what I mean? I get it. But for what we've seen so far, the Xenomorph... First off, I understand that the Xenomorph's pretty big. It is pretty big. I just don't see how they're going to work with this. You know what I mean? Like, the Xenomorph looks like... So, like I said, it's only the trailer, so I can only go by so much. You know what I mean? The Xenomorph looks like it has potential, as opposed to Leatherface, as opposed to all the juggles that we see with Triborg. I put it like this. People who are not good with getting away with stuff like that, defending, please save your meter for Breaker. It's going to come down to the point where, like, Leatherface looks like a joke. He looks like a joke. That's just me. I think he looks like a joke. There's no reason to have Leatherface. I still don't understand how it fits in this world. He fits in this world. It's just a guy who... Come on. There's no reason. Like I said before, I will stick to my original opinion. I think instead of Leatherface, they should have put Pinhead in it, because that would actually connect... You could connect Scorpion with that and things of that nature in Hell and things... Like, it makes more sense when it comes to a dimensional aspect. I don't know how they're going to do Leatherface. I'm not very happy with it. Alright, just to let you know. I mean, of course, I'm sure the gameplay for Leatherface will be good, but more of a tank, aspect. We'll see how that works. You know what I mean? But I'm just not very happy with seeing Leatherface. But the Xenomorph, back to the Xenomorph. I have to go back to Xenomorph, because the Triborg is... let's be honest here. Triborg is Cyrax, Sector, Smoke. It is what it is when it comes to the variations. We've seen it, alright, in the trailer. So I really don't want to talk about that. Bo Right Show, does it really matter? I mean, really, it's Bo Right Show. Anyone who knows the history of Bo Right Show, I don't think it really needs to speak on it. Xenomorph is the biggest, I think, even though it's really off-putting. For me, I think it's the biggest factor in this trailer. I think a lot of people want to see, because now you're getting your Alien vs. Predator, because before you didn't get your Freddy vs. Jason. So, Xenomorph for me is the big factor here in this trailer. The moves I've seen with Xenomorph is just, they're very agile, which is fine, because that's what an alien is, it's very agile. I think they did somewhat of a tribute, up close. Little mouth comes out. We all know from Aliens, that's how it worked with Sigourney Weaver. Like I said, little things here and there. When you've watched the series and you've burned the series into your brain, you can see certain moves working, and you can see certain moves like, what the fuck is wrong with these people? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I still have a problem with seeing Jason jump off the side of the wall and jump in general. You know what I mean? Jason jumping in general is still a problem for me, but it's a fighting game, so they have to jump. But Xenomorph, we haven't seen everything with Xenomorph, of course, just yet. But I just really feel as though there's way too many kill shots, way too many free shots for Xenomorph to do this. It's like, it almost makes you feel like this is where they went too far. I thought Predator would be too far, especially, the one move and then he lunges in with the gut, gut you, and it's like, okay, because you lifted him. I'm thinking to myself, kill shot. You know what I mean? Like, if you've watched these films, I understand, sometimes, like I said, sometimes the stuff that happens on film doesn't translate well to the games. And, you have to take that reality aspect that they've created, and that's the thing. I think people don't understand when you've created a specific lore. People expect that lore to stay intact. And when you mess with that lore when it comes to Alien or Jason or Predator or Freddy or whatever, you're bringing a novelty character into the game. Still wait for Baraka, though. Not going to be around, huh? Not going to be around. But, doesn't matter. I mean, it doesn't matter at this point. When you have a specific lore, and you break that lore to make it fit your game, it's not going to please everyone. So, as far as I'm concerned, these are my impressions so far. I'm not very happy with it, but I'll say Xenomorph is a lot better than Leatherface. I'll say that, for what I've seen. I can't wait for the DLC to come out so I can actually sit down, and really pick it apart for what it really is. You know what I mean? Because, like I said, with Jason, they did somewhat of a good thing. Some of those fatalities, like the brutalities, like I said, brutalities are better than fatalities. I'll be interested to see what happens with the Xenomorph when it comes to brutalities, if they do the same thing. It seems like the novelty characters they had so far, especially with Predator, same way. With Predator, it seems like their brutalities fit their character more than the actual fatalities. I mean, seriously, because when you have a fatality and Predator's using, the shoulder aim, or he's firing at him, I'm thinking to myself, but you can use that during, regular fighting as well. Why would all of a sudden it matter? Certain things, like I said, kill shots, and you take liberty with them, and then you try to use it as a fatality. It's kind of, I don't want to say off-putting, but it kind of ruins the experience, you know what I mean? What Predator is about, the lore of what it's about. We will see in the future what happens. I cannot wait to see what's going on so I can sit and watch and dissect it, you know what I mean? I want to move on, even though it felt like more of a ramble. I want to move on. Capcom news. Monster Hunter X, Mega Man. That's right. It's coming. That's right. And Square Enix collaborations have been announced with Capcom. So we will see what happens with that. The Mega Man stuff is really hilarious because they had the cats dressed up in the Mega Man outfits and everything, and Rush outfits and stuff like that. Anyone who's played Monster Hunter, the cats are really a big deal in Monster Hunter. You know what I mean? So, and anyone who knows Japan's, their obsession with cats anyway, let's be honest here. Okay, so let's move on. Speaking of Square, all right, Final Fantasy 15 will have explorable cities of a considerable size. That's right, and exciting aerial battles. So, I guess this is the answer to everyone who was upset at one point at Final Fantasy 13 for not having, that corridor feeling and not being able to explore enough. So, we'll see what happens, okay? Also, EA news. I gotta talk about EA. Yeah, they're bullshit. I am so sick and tired of this already. EA. Let's talk about UFC. We talked about this not too long ago with CM Punk, have we not? We talked about how he was going to be in the game, and I had said, well, the guy hasn't had a legit fight yet in the UFC. He hasn't had a debut fight. How are you going to rate this man, right? And then we find out, not too long ago, that EA has rated CM Punk in UFC an 85. Now, with this being said, I really need to have this talk because both sides are fucking wrong in this situation. So first, I will speak to the gamers, okay? Speak to the gamers. When EA rates CM Punk an 85, all right, gamers, you don't go after CM Punk. You don't. There's no reason. What does that do? It does nothing. CM Punk has no control of what EA decides to rate him. So if you're going to have a problem with it, which is a legit question, like I don't have a problem with people having a legit complaint with, well, you're putting a guy in the game that hasn't fought yet, how do you rate him at 85? All right? I don't have a problem with that because that's common sense. You know what I mean? But you don't go after CM Punk about it. You talk to EA about it and say, what the fuck were you thinking? You know what I mean? That's what you do. You go and you talk to them and you say, what are you thinking with this? Why is there even ratings anyway? And we're going to talk about that in a minute, okay? All right? So gamers, your malice or your complaints, do you want to call it butthurt? I don't want to call it butthurt, but apparently someone else has already, all right? But your focus, so who it's directed to, is to the wrong person. And why I say this, gamers, you have to understand, CM Punk. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck you were thinking replying to these people, but this is what CM Punk said about the rating in general. See, this is the type of arrogance I'm talking about that will be your fucking downfall. So CM Punk, since this is the way you want to, address things, which, I have to say now, very mature of you. Yeah, great, very mature. Let's put it like this. For you to sit here and get on consumers who are going to buy the product and have a legit complaint, you're going to call them a bunch of dummies who are butthurt? That's what you want to do. And it's funny because if you're saying it's only a game, well, I'll put it this. If it's only a game, then you wouldn't have addressed this shit. You wouldn't have, okay? It's that simple. You would have or you just say, you know what? Maybe y'all need to talk to EA and not talk to me about it. You could have just said that. You know what I mean? But no, you want to sit here and say, it's a bunch of butthurt dummies and I haven't seen it since Samus Aran. What the fuck you know about Samus? So let me get this straight. Now, I have to recall, it was back in the 80s? Back, 86? Are you going to tell me that you knew so many people when it was revealed that she was a woman that all of a sudden everyone was hurt? Everyone was so butthurt. Oh my God, Samus is a woman. That my life is over. This can't be. You're going to tell me that you knew so many people back in the 80s that that's what happened? Because the internet wasn't around. So is that what you want to say? It's fucking stupid. And for you to even bring up Samus Aran, you know what? It almost makes me feel as though you want to play this SJW role. So SJ Punk, let's get something straight here. If you want to say that this is the most you've ever seen someone butthurt, you obviously haven't been in the gaming community long enough to see what the fuck's going on, alright? Where were you a couple weeks ago when Bayonetta was revealed for Smash? Huh? Because all those SJWs, they were so butthurt. They wrote so many articles saying it's disgusting and things of that nature. Where were you then? Nowhere, huh? Nowhere. You know, here's the thing. I don't have anything against CM Punk. I don't. But for you to come out and call these people a bunch of butthurt dummies, alright, and say it's only a game, the way you addressed it, it makes me feel as though you're more butthurt than anybody. That's what it feels like. Seriously, this is the way you address things? That's a bitch move. It is. And like I said, I used to like this dude wrestling too. I thought he was cool, cool with the way he wrestles and everything. And you want to act like this now? The fuck out of here, man. I don't want to hear this shit. But people should know better than this. They should. This is EA we're talking about, right? So, I'll break it down to you because EA used both of you. Since, people want to get arrogant like CM Punk, you were used too. For those who don't know, if you have gamers who are going after CM Punk, and you have CM Punk going back after gamers, who's the people who are being left out of this? EA. For those who don't know, we see this shit year after year after year when it comes to ratings in Madden. And what happens? We see every football player come out and say, man, my rating too low in Madden. This is bullshit and everything. We know as they do roster updates and things of that nature, if a player plays better, guess what? Their rating goes up. If they play poor, guess what? Their rating goes down. This shit changes all the time, which means the stock rating that they give people, no matter it's fighters or it's raiders, or players, it doesn't matter because they're going to fucking change. It's that simple. You're playing right into their bait. So for y'all to argue back and forth, EA sitting back like, this shit working, that's what's going on right now. You've got to be fucking kidding me that you were falling for this shit year after year after year. It's a pattern, it's a bait move. And some of these people on CM Punk's dick riding the shit out of them, I'm just buying this game because you're in it. Just like last year, when people bought, the previous installment, where people just bought the game because they wanted to play as Bruce Lee. Are we supposed to forget that as well? It's a gimmick. It's a bait move. That's all the fuck it is. And you know these people, yeah, well, if the haters don't like it, they can go to hell, blah, blah. The fuck? Haters? What the fuck? Do y'all not understand the difference between hate and someone having a legit criticism of what's going on? Do y'all not understand that shit? Seriously, hate is like, I hope you die, I hope that you fail, I hope that you never do anything successful in life, and things like that. That's fucking hate. For someone to say, hey, wait a minute, I'm going to buy this game, I already pre-ordered it, and I think this rating is off. Someone needs to give me some answers as a consumer. That's hate? That's now hate? That's what you want to say is a hater? Get the fuck out of here, man. It's so bullshit. It is. I tell you, keep your fucking dick-sucking fan base, keep them to a minimum, please. Please. It's ridiculous. But you know what? Speaking of more ridiculous shit, let's talk about it right now. More EA bullshit, yeah. So EA launches a $5 subscription plan to access Vault games. So EA, I guess someone didn't tell you, but these Vault games, you do realize that gamers can get those games in other ways, right? Instead of paying $5 a month on top of their cable bill, on top of their internet bill, on top of their gaming console, online bill, and things of that nature, cell phone bill, and all other bills for food and family. You understand it, right, EA? You get that, right? Okay, I'm just wondering, okay. Let's move on, because more EA nickel and diming bait and bullshit. Yes, for those who don't know, EA player builds up, and I want you to listen to this, builds up $7,600, that's right, in microtransactions on their parents' credit card. So, let's get into this real quick, alright? This is what's said, yeah, $7,600. This is what's being said. This is what the parent said, alright? He thought it was a one-time fee for the game, okay? When it came to microtransactions. It says, he's just as sick as I am because he never believed he was being charged for every transaction or every time he went into the game, okay? Now, with that being said, in the comment section, one gamer says, as an avid player of FIFA Ultimate Team, so it's you who keeps this shit going. People like you, huh? Okay, anyways, it says, I can say without any doubt that there is no way that this teenager was unaware of exactly what was being charged. Okay, it says, in order to purchase points, you need to go into the storefront, choose the total you are purchasing, and then check out, finally confirming the transaction. So this gamer, even though it's part of the problem, is calling this other teenager who racked up all this money on their bullshit, right? That's what they're doing. However, in the comment section as well, gamers are saying, this shouldn't even be in the game to begin with. Now, I have to agree with that. And the writer of this article starts this off by saying, we're almost used to microtransactions in games these days. I'll get in that in a minute, alright? It says, but that doesn't mean they don't come with the dangers, as one family appears to have found in FIFA 16. So, here's the thing, okay? We're almost used to microtransactions. Gamers, community, I've been telling you time and time again, alright? You have the power to make or break things. That's what happens, alright? Because if a community says, look, we don't like this, and they walk away, you know, the companies will be like, you know what, now, this is not going to work. We have to stop this right away. If you don't believe me, remember all those, you know, used copies and they tried to put passes in them? Remember that? Where'd that go? Gone, right? Okay. Like I said, but when you have gamers who say, I hate microtransactions, I hate DLC, I hate season passes, and the company is looking like, well, the statistics say that people don't hate them, and they keep buying them, and they keep eating it up, we're going to keep doing it. So now we're getting to this complex where they said we're getting used to it because we're just keep throwing it at us, and then we just have to get used to it. And then you have these stupid fucking gamers who say, well, it's just change of the times, and you just need to go with the changes. No, you don't. You don't. It's uncalled for. You don't need it in the game. But yet, people just try and defend it, or they try and justify it, and it's bullshit, and you know it, alright? We've seen this not too long ago with EA, when they tried it in other models, have we not? Not just on consoles and platforms, things of that nature, but we also saw what happened when they did with their mobile gaming as well. When they had free-to-play games, and they nickel and dime the shit out of you when it came to microtransactions. It got to one point where, you know, the authorities, especially overseas, had to say, this isn't a free-to-play game, you're billing it wrong, you were actually, you know, how can I put this? It's false advertising. Because you still have to pay for all this stuff in order to go. Not to mention, we see a lot of play to win these days, do we not? Okay. I don't want to hear this. $7,600. $7,600. I want to move on to more arrogance, and I want to talk about the Oculus Rift. That's right. For those who don't know, the Oculus Rift creator defends its $600 price point after promising, that's right, that the cost will eventually drop, all right? It will eventually drop, but it was supposed to be at $350 to start at launch, okay? So, let me get this straight. If you're promising, as a consumer, and you're promising that this product is eventually going to drop in price, why the fuck would I buy it at launch? Why would I? Why wouldn't I just wait for the, for it to end out? Or, as we know how things go these days, they gotta make a newer version, and it's gonna be slimmer, and it's gonna be more compact, and it's gonna be more accessible, and things of that nature, and we know how they do things, okay? And the price will drop with that. And then on top of it, if that version comes out, since the older version will be there, you know what's gonna happen? Because it's already obsolete, that one will drop in price as well. We know how the market works. Apparently, this guy doesn't. So you promised gamers, and it's in the article, the key word here is promised gamers, alright? That it was going to start at $350. Then you promised gamers that it's going to be at $600, but it's going to drop again. So you promised twice, okay? And now you're trying to defend this $600 price point. There's more, alright? Oculus Rift creator says that the Virtual Boy hurt the VR industry. The Virtual Boy! So let me get this straight. You're going to blame this small red and black tunnel vision, alright, entertainment system, if you want to call it that, alright, from the 90s. From the 90s, alright? You're going to blame that, or is it early 2000s, one or two. You're going to blame that for all the problems that are happening now with virtual reality up to 2016. That's what you want to do, huh? So should we talk about all these movies that used to come out with virtual reality, and there was such shit, alright? And they try to use that as a gimmick for their movies, and how that influenced the public perception? You don't want to talk about that, huh? This arrogance. And I want to talk about more. This arrogance. Because gamers, for anyone who's thinking about the Oculus Rift, let me tell you that now, alright? The Oculus Rift creator, alright, hopes that the Rift spurs gamers to upgrade their crappy PCs. Yeah, that's the word, yeah. So apparently, he's saying that you have a shit PC and that you need to upgrade it. Yeah, if you want to play with the Oculus Rift. And gamers in the comment section are like, you know what? I don't want your shit product anyway. You want to call, my PC crappy. For people to say this, you have to remember, this creator's what? 23 years old, is it? Something like that? Doesn't know any better. Obviously doesn't know the fucking market, because we're going to talk about that in a minute as well, okay? But for you to come out with a product and then insult your consumer base, fucking stupid. Again, this arrogance has to go. It has to. But there's more. Sony's VR headset, that cost anywhere from $400 to $600, meaning that's the market. So we don't know what Sony's going to do yet when it comes to a base price, but they have more money, okay, than pretty much everyone. I wouldn't say everyone, but they have a lot of money compared to the people who are making the Oculus, all right? You have to also understand that they can afford to have that price drop. But if the market stands at $600, all right, and the Oculus, we're at $600, and Sony's like, okay, we'll go $600. It becomes the standard. We see this time and time again. How many times have we seen when it comes to, you know, specific things in the genre? Let's just say games right now, all right? In the PS2 era, how much was the average PS2 game? $40 here, right? All right. In the PS3 era, or 360 or whatever, how much was the average game? $60, right? Becomes standard. So if they try and push the standard at $600, it's going to stand because that's how the market starts. So for this guy to try to defend it and promise, oh my God, we're going to promise that it's going to drop, and we're going to promise you it was going to be a $350. It's promises broken. You're being a fucking liar, and on top of it, you're insulting a fan base who you want to buy your product. Okay, this is real smart, isn't it? But that's not all. With all this VR talk, all right, now we have the media coming out, and you should know gender, identity, politics. Here we go. Already starting to pick on the VR scene because you can't leave the women out of it. Don't forget about the women's because the women's are going to save us with bullshit-ass articles like this. You've got to be fucking kidding me that this is being said. Now, the header, I don't have a problem with the header. It's the sub that I have a problem with. Because when you sit here and say, I am not the exception, I am your audience. Who the fuck said you were the exception? Seriously, what company came out and said women are the exception in VR, let alone women are the exception in video games? No company has come out and said that shit. So where the fuck are you getting this? This is what I mean, how they keep trying to stir the pot. They keep trying to divide to keep you on your toes and say, hey, this is a problem, this is a problem. There is no fucking problem. You're trying to create one. That's all the fuck it is. You gotta be kidding me if you think these companies give a shit if you're a man or a woman or what color you are, what race you are, whether you're black, you're white, you're Indian, you're Muslim. Wait, unless you're being profiled, then they care. Yeah, then they care, all right? But the companies, they don't give a shit about. They're going after a specific community. Anybody want to tell me why? You want to know why? Because they're trying to generate mass revenue. They don't give a shit if it's a man or a woman buying it at a Walmart or a Target or whatever. You want to know why? Because they don't see that. They just see numbers. And yet these people still want to try and pull this shit. It almost feels like a fucking scam, almost like blackmail almost. You know, that's a nice VR game you got there. It'd be a shame if somebody called it sexist or misogynist or... That's what it feels like. You've got to be fucking kidding me. This is the shit that we have to deal with now in our community. Because these fucking assholes don't want to play ball. They don't care about the community coming together and uniting. Or communication. No. They want to keep this divide and conquer shit going. But I keep telling you, these companies don't care who you are. And I should direct this towards fanboys more than anything. Because I'm getting real tired of seeing this groupie mentality. We'll talk about it right now. For those who don't know. For all you Sony fans who think Sony is the greatest... All right, and will defend Sony to the fucking end. That's right. You will go on forums, you will go on Twitter, you'll go on your Facebook, you'll go into YouTube comments, and you will curse out and fight with anyone who decides that, you know, Sony isn't great. You people, I'm talking to you, okay? Sony tries to trademark the phrase, or the words, let's play. That's right. And then they were rejected. Now, when this happened, the community was pissed off because, as you know, this could have impacted the community really badly. It could have. They were trying to sneak this under the table and try to be slick. That's what they wanted to do. All right? This would have hurt a lot of Let's Players. This would have hurt a lot of people, okay, in our community. But they were rejected. And thank God they were rejected. But it goes to show you that these companies don't give a shit about this community, only using it. So when you watch E3 or whatever fucking presentation you want to watch, and they stroll on out there, and they say, yeah, we're going to bring the best games, and we want to keep our community, because the community is our family, and blah, 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 blah. Make you feel all good inside, so you buy those products. Guess what? That's them trying to give you the hard sell. They're blowing smoke up your ass. They don't care if you're a part of the community or not. They don't, like I said, they don't care if you're just some average Joe walking into a Walmart store and buying a product. They don't care. All right? They see numbers. That's all they see. And they were getting ready to use this community once again. And yet, that's okay, right? And the thing is, we see this time and time again with these companies, man. All the fucking time. It's just, it's disgusting that we see this so much. And yet, people are just okay with it, you know? Like I said, Fanboy Wars, man. That's a good example. But let's move on. I want to talk about some good news for once. Sega. Alright? I want to talk about Sonic. Sonic! For those who don't know, Sonic fans, you're about to get Sonic Adventure 3 and a Sonic prequel. Both games are in development. That's right. So, also in more news, Sega has plans aplenty for Sonic 25th anniversary. That's right. So, they're talking about giving you comic books and things of that nature. So, they're really doing it big for Sonic right now, for Sonic fans, alright? That's the good news. Now, here's the bad news. Sega has announced that Phantasy Star Online 2 will get its own TV anime series this year. Okay. Sega. Haven't learned yet, huh? So let me get this straight. Alright? Sega. You've had fans for years asking for you to translate and localize Phantasy Star Online 2 to the West. And you still won't do it. But you can spend money because that's the whole thing we keep hearing. You know how much it's going to cost to localize? You know how much it's going to cost to translate? But you can spend money on an animation production. For those, y'all don't know how much animation production is, do you? Because I'm telling you now, it is a lot of money being spent on animation production. All right, the cost for that. All right, for you to spend money on this anime series when you could have given gamers what they want already. Let me try to rationalize this. I guess Sega, you're going to bring this out in anime form so that it generates hype, and then you want to come out with Phantasy Star Online 2. Did you not learn from Shenmue? Did you not learn? For years, fans wanted Shenmue 3, and you didn't give it to them. You just stuck your fingers in your ears, and you didn't give a shit. And then when it was announced, what happened? It broke records on Kickstarter, and you said, damn, I guess fans really wanted Shenmue 3. That's what you did. You would think that you would watch that pattern with Phantasy Star Online 2, and you would give fans what they want. But instead, you want to take the money and throw it into an anime series to see if it'll generate buzz. And then if it gets popular enough, then try and sell it. Fuck you. Fuck you. From Phantasy Star Online fans, too. Fuck you. That's how I feel right now with Sega. Like I said, you gave us some positive news. Fuck you, Sega. That should have already been done. It should have. Let's move on. Speaking of more bad news, for those who were planning on getting Far Cry Primal and playing co-op, can't anymore because there's no co-op. That's right. So just to let you know, no co-op in Far Cry Primal. Just to let you know, okay? In more news, let's talk about Destiny. You know, every time we talk about Destiny, it's always bad. Always. Whether it's a glitch or a bug, and this is a bug, you know, or trying to get you for your money. For those who don't know, Destiny bug that blocks progress discovered in latest weekly Nightfall. Blocking your progress in the game. Yeah. And the thing is, before this was updated, because Bungie has now fixed it, okay? Which, I'll get on that in a minute. But the writer had suggested, don't play the game. Don't play that part. Don't play it. So, you're paying for a game, and they're going to tell you now when not to play, and when you should play and when you shouldn't play it. Because it'll hurt your progress. Here's the thing, alright, Bungie? You have done this time and time again, alright? Every time you release something, or every time there's a problem, it always comes down to you missed the bug. And then it hurts the community, and then it's a setback. And then now we'll fix it. Look, I put it like this. The publishers need to give the developers more time on this. You cannot just keep putting out products and say we're going to half-ass it because of deadlines. And we've seen that before. We've seen people admit that they've sent out game-breaking bug games. You know what I mean? Game-breaking glitches. And no, we'll just have to fix it because they didn't want to miss their deadline. We've seen, people admit this in the industry. You have to give them more time. If there is a problem, let them fix it 100%. You know what I mean? Like before it even comes out. Let them test it. Let them do what they need to do. And then bring the product out. You know, like they used to do back in the old days before you could just patch shit. Remember that for consoles? Yeah. You had one shot. So you had to get it right. These days, we'll just send it out and then we'll patch it later. You know how much it costs to patch a game? So in the long run, you're actually wasting more money with the patches. Let them take their time and do what they need to do. Jesus Christ, is it that hard to get a competent fucking game these days? Anyways, let's move on. Let's talk about some good news. I guess this is good news for some people. Norwegian High School is offering a competitive gaming class. That's right. And I think that's good, for gamers. In my time, I never would have thought I've seen competitive gaming classes. You know what I mean? We had, Oregon Trail. We learned desktop publishing, things of that nature. It was never competitive gaming. Every once in a while, they let us bring in, a PlayStation or something. Someone would bring in their PlayStation, and we'd be able to play, on a TV somewhere. One of those days where you have, one of those pizza parties, but that was it when we were kids. That's it! You know what I mean? But competitive gaming classes? Now, while I find this is okay, I think here in America, We could not afford to do that. And I know there's some places who are trying to do that. But if you look at the state of everything the way it is now, we have bigger priorities. And for those who don't know, we have schools, especially here in Philadelphia, we've got music programs cut. This is, after school, curricular activities. Music programs cut. Sports programs cut. Here, the schools, they then pocketed the fucking money. That's right, they pocketed the money. So the schools, guess what, are closing left and right here. Not to mention, you got, teachers who are taking pay cuts, and because they keep giving the wrong people raises, they haven't done shit, but they're going to get a raise anyway. Teachers they take pay cuts, like I said. And the thing is, rebuilding these parks, not going to happen, all right? But they have money to make new jails and prisons. Yeah. I'll let you tell it. But anyways, let's move on. Like I said, it's a good thing, I think. But, like I said, I think there are bigger priorities at stake here. In more news, a raging gamer has police called on him. By the time that the police gets there, because, he was raging so much at his game that it awoke the community, and they called the police. The police get there, and by the time the police get there, the gamer is literally taking a cold shower to cool off. Go figure. And in more news, we have some sad news now. I said I wanted to get to the sad news. And just to let you know, the sad news I'm going to give you today, I actually cut some of the sad news because there was so much of it. I'll wait till next week because I think this is more, this is too much. Bodies were found in the home of a missing Final Fantasy Heavensward voice actress. That's right. Her and her sons were found dead. They were missing at one point, and no one knew what happened. She voiced Yagiri. It seems like the community right now is really taken back by it. Also, not too long ago, the industry itself felt as though, they were taken back by it as well. In more news, this person says, why I'm learning to deal with my husband's video gaming. Yeah, alright. And the person starts this, it's not even, I wouldn't even say it's like an article, it's more like a blog or even a Tumblr, I would say. That's how it feels, very Tumblr-esque, alright? Because the wife comes out and says, I don't want to be one of those women who complain that, their husbands aren't paying attention to them when they're playing video games. And then it goes down that route because she talks about how she does all these dances and jazz hands and all that stuff to get his attention, but he's not paying attention to her because he's too much into the game. Now, she talks about how his face gets to a zombie-like state and he doesn't hear anything when he's playing. And he's playing League of Legends. So I'm thinking to myself, that's actually kind of odd. It's a little different because when people play League of Legends, all they do is get animated and curse people out and carry on. We see it all the time. So it's a little interesting that, this guy would just zone everything out and not hear anything. Now, mind you, this man is a doctor, okay? He plays video games to decompress. She admits it herself that other people she has talked to has said they play video games to decompress from their work time. You know what I mean? So she understands. However, it bothers her that he's not paying enough attention to her, even though she's sitting on the couch watching whole seasons of Parks and Recreation, not saying anything herself. Yeah, I should tell you something. And she said that, he was hoping that he would, that she was bracing for herself. He would throw that in her face when she would comment about video games, and he wouldn't. He would just be like, I'm sorry. So it goes to show you, you know what I mean? Let's talk about this a little bit more. Women who say that they have to deal with, their husbands, because it's a hobby, let's be honest here, their husband's hobby. At any time, you can learn that hobby as well and incorporate yourself into it so you can do it as a couple, right? You understand that, right? Same thing as like when you're watching your Park and Recreation, if he doesn't like it, he can come and watch whatever else or suggest something. Y'all can watch something together. You understand that, right? It's about communication. Now, granted, this guy's playing for a long couple of hours of time, so I understand that moderation is the key here. And we'll talk about that in a minute. But she has to also understand that you know where your husband is. He's only 5 yards away from you. You understand that, right? I just feel like a stranger because he doesn't realize I'm in the room. You do realize that right now there are many husbands and wives who don't know where their spouses are right now, whether they're out cheating, whether they're out doing some type of trouble or getting in some type of crime or something. And your problem is that he's 5 yards away from you and he's playing a video game. Unfucking real. It just, you've got to be kidding me. You see how it is? You see, like, there's so many problems in the world, especially when it comes to relationships. And this is what you want to knuckle it down to and say, this is a problem, this is a huge problem. Because he's playing video games. The guy's a fucking doctor and staying out of trouble. And you're still creating trouble. That's what you're... Okay, let's move on, please. Let's move on. Alright? Speaking of playing for long hours, because like I said, moderation is always the key. Xbox Addict dies by blood clot after a 12-hour gaming session. Okay, this kid was 20 years old. And what bothers me about this is, the father was like, I didn't realize that games could be that dangerous. I didn't know that it could do that to somebody. Are you fucking stupid? It's not about the fucking video game. It's about him not moving. They said that the blood clot was in his lungs. They compared it to people being on airplanes for long times and have to get up and stretch. He did not move for 12 hours. That means he didn't eat. That means he didn't drink. That means he didn't even hit the pause button to say, you know what? I gotta use the restroom. Nothing. You're gonna tell me you let your son, your 20-year-old son, play this game for 12 fucking hours, and the only thing you came up with was, I didn't know games could be that dangerous. How about if he was sitting there for 12 hours and didn't move a muscle and he was watching a marathon of some movie or some series or something, and the same thing happened? Would you say, well, I didn't know that, a series could be that dangerous? It doesn't matter what specific entertainment it is. It's his body. He's not moving. The blood isn't moving. That's what it is. You can't blame video games on this, but you wouldn't did that. Yeah. Go figure. Like I said, it's a shame that anybody would sit there for 12 hours straight and play without food, water, moving around, going to the restroom, not saying a damn word, nothing, not moving at all. I think I'm more animated in these videos than that guy was for 12 hours. You gotta be kidding me. Like I said, it's a shame that it happened, you know what I mean? But like I said, moderation is the key. You cannot sit around for 12 hours. Seriously, you can tell me no friends called and said, hey, why don't you come on out? Why don't you, come out and party or something? Nothing. Wow. And the last bit of news. Most disgusting bit of fucking news. A woman helps her boyfriend kill a 6-year-old son, suffocating him, right? While the pair played video games. That's right. She held his feet down while the boyfriend smothered the kid. The kid was begging for them to stop. It got to a point where he urinated on himself, and they didn't stop. You kill a 6-year-old kid because you want to play fucking video games. Again, the pause button. Take care of your fucking kid. But you know what, gamers? This is this disgusting shit that we see time and time again. And you know what? Even though we can sit here and say this is disgusting and we don't agree with this shit, you know it's still going to be blamed on us because the media is just waiting for this type of shit to happen. They're happy accidents for them. That's what it is, a happy accident. Because then they can say, see, this is how gamers act. This is how they are. This is why they're taboo. This is why nobody likes them. That's what they're going to say. And we got to take every bit of that. Even though we disagree with the shit, it always falls back on us because guilty by association is a real thing. Real thing. And I'm just telling you, this is one of those things where I hate to use this word, but it's got to be said. The word obligation. That's right. Because we're obligated to act a specific way. If you want to beat these people, and I say this, I know people say, no, we don't. How dare you tell me how to act online or whatever. No. Listen, okay? Listen. When these people are playing this type of game, all right, and you want to beat them at their said game, then you have to show them differently. I'm not saying you got to do it all the fucking time, okay? But you have to show, because let's be honest here, you wouldn't act that way in real life, right? It's no different in the internet. I told you before, the internet doesn't give you a free pass to act like a fucking idiot. It doesn't, all right? You can talk to people without going off on them. You know what I mean? And what I mean by it is if you contact somebody directly, hey, how you doing, whatever, it doesn't have to be, you fucking asshole, blah, blah, blah. I can't believe you made this game and I'm not going to support it. You don't have to be that way. You don't. No. You know that. You can talk to somebody. Now, if you talk to somebody in a civil manner and they don't reciprocate back, then guess what? Then fuck them. Like I said before, the community and the media need to be together when it comes to communication. As the community and the industry need to be together when it comes to communication. When one of those, those pieces fall apart or don't want to play ball, say like the media, then fuck them. You know what you do? You leapfrog them. Especially in these times of social media where you can talk to developers, where you can talk to publishers and things of that nature. So you can get somebody, But you have to be able to talk to them civilly, because if not, you know how they're going to act. Well, fuck these people. This is what I expected from the internet and gamers. Because you got to think about it. The media thinks that you're going to act this way. That's outside of our culture. Now the media that's in the gaming media think you're going to act this way. And then you have developers who think they're going to act, gamers are going to act this way. So then if you come out and say, well, I don't really like your game, they automatically get defensive. Well, you know what? Fuck you. I don't care if you like my game. You can suck a dick. Arrogance. Happens all the time. And then people get defensive. You know what I mean? Then the other side gets defensive, and it's a back and forth thing. It's the same thing over and over and over. You think that someone would break this fucking cycle. You would think. I don't know. But the community can't get any better if there's not legit communication. And it seems like that gets lost a lot when it comes to communication with people. Because, I mean, let's be honest here, all right? Let's be honest. If the companies don't care, the publishers don't care, all right? Then you can talk to said developer, you know? And then you can figure out whether a developer is lying to you or not. You know. You should know this by now, all right? But then, if you say, look, I'm criticizing this game, then you have to deal with its legion of fucking fanboys who, don't you talk about that game? Get the fuck out of here with that old bullshit. Seriously. That has to go. It should be okay for someone to have their opinion and say, look, I don't like this game. I'm going to tell you why I have a problem with this game. You know what I mean? Is there a way that it can be rectified? You know what I mean? If the developer's like, well, fuck you, then fuck that developer then. You know what I mean? Like I said, it's about maturity. For everyone who keeps saying that they want to be adult or that games need to grow up or this needs to grow up, no one's acting that way. And these are all from the adults, not even the kids. So it goes to show you. I don't know, man. This shit is not going to get any better until people start acting, you know, in a somewhat civil manner. You know, like you do it in everyday life, you know? Everyday life? No? You don't recall that at all? Like I said, man, if this shit is going to get better, especially when it comes to the media, when they write these garbage-ass articles, like I said, I can get on here and talk and curse and do whatever I want on this video, you know what I mean? But if you think that I'm going to address somebody directly just the same way, then there's something fucking wrong with you. You have to be able to talk to them first. If you want them to listen, you're going to have to talk to them first in a civil manner. Now, if they treat you a specific way, like I said, well, then fuck them, okay? But you just can't go off the handle right away. Fuck you, fuck this. It doesn't solve anything. It doesn't get anything. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of time of your energy of doing it. It's a waste of time of their energy even reading it. You know what I mean? It is. They said, be smarter on this. But of course, when I'm saying this, I'm sure the same fucking idiots that are coming, I'm going to dislike the shit out of this video because of immaturity. That's what it comes down to. It's amazing. Anyways, I'm done. I will talk to y'all later. Y'all be safe. This video should have been up yesterday, and apparently, like I said, there were some problems. So, anyways, it's up today. I'll talk to y'all later. Y'all be safe. I'm out.